Told you, I already read through the laws down there, okay?
American.
You have any identification or anything?
I'm not going to give you ID, but I'm not.
Again, why are you looking at people's personal vehicles?
I don't answer questions, man. Am I suspected of committing a crime?
Yes.
You have reasonable, articulable suspicion?
Yes.
Okay, so what crime?
Well, I am assuming that you're either A, looking in people's vehicles, personal vehicles, to possibly take shit out of them.
Okay.
So that's a crime. That's called theft.
Thank you very much, sir.
You go that way. I'm asking you nicely to leave. Over this way.
That is a threat. That shows who you are.
Well, you're the one who said you're
Hey,
flatten my nose.
don't touch me, and we won't have to defend myself, will I?
You have the right to walk around this store.
Around, so don't restrict it. And do your job. Pay attention to this fine lady here. What's wrong with you? Don't tell me what to do. You go on. Go on.
What starts as a routine checkpoint quickly turns into a tense battle of rights and authority. In this video, a brave citizen challenges the relentless demands of Border Patrol agents, refusing to answer a simple question. Are you a U.S. citizen? What follows is an intense standoff where the Constitution is put to the test and government power pushes its limits. Will this citizen's firm stand make a difference, or will the system crush individual liberty yet again? Stay with us as the showdown unfolds.
Name and badge number.
Are you a U.S. citizen or not?
Name and badge number.
You didn't see my name, of course.
Recite your name and badge number.
I'm gonna tell you to come out here.
Recite your name and badge number. Recite your name and badge number.
I'm just gonna let the suit deal with it.
Okay. Name and badge number. Y Amon. A-M-O-N. Here they come.
Over here. All right. Are you going to answer your citizenship?
Name and badge number.
My name is Samuel Perez. I'm a supervisor here at the Papuria station.
Okay, you don't have a badge number?
I'm watch route 67.
Okay. What about you?
This is an immigration checkpoint.
I understand that, but I have a Fifth Amendment right to remain silent, correct? Do you suspect that I'm not a citizen?
Sir, I don't know if you're a U.S. citizen or not. I don't know.
I speak better English than everybody here.
It doesn't matter if you speak English or not. So, let me read you this. Let me read you the legal authority so you get it verbatim, okay? The U.S. immigration checkpoint legally operates in accordance with the judicial rulings based on INA Section 287.83 and 8 U.S.C. 1357.83. Border Patrol agents may question suspected aliens or persons regarding their citizenship or right to the United States. Border Patrol agents may board and search for aliens in any vehicle. Border Patrol agents may take and consider evidence. The Supreme Court ruling in Martinez Huerta 428 U.S. 543, the Supreme Court held that immigration checkpoints are constitutional.
Yes, it says you may ask. It doesn't say I have to answer.
You do have to answer. Sir, look. Pull over to the secretary. We'll deal with this over here. You're impeding traffic.
All right, you're impeding my travel.
Okay, that's fine. Pull over to the secretary.
Name and badge number.
Right here.
Verbally.
Garcia. Badge number 374.
You.
Rodriguez 42. Number 43. I already told you, I already read through the laws down there, okay? Are you going to come out or not? Because if you don't come out, are you going to, oh, I'm sorry. Are you a U.S. citizen? Are you going to answer our questions?
Do you have reason to suspect I am not a U.S. citizen?
I don't know who you are. I don't know.
I don't know any of you either. But
this is an immigration checkpoint.
You directly read off that if you have suspicion whether I'm a illegal alien or not.
Well,
that's what you read, correct?
Okay. Yeah. Well, are you an alien or? Are you
wait a minute. You asked right. You read right from that.
Yes, I did.
You said you have the right to inspect if you suspect a person is an illegal alien. Do you suspect I'm an illegal alien?
I don't know who you are.
Do you suspect? Because that's what you just read off.
I suspect you're an illegal alien. I don't know who you are.
Why do you suspect I'm an illegal alien?
Everybody
speak better English than everybody here.
Look, 18 U.S.C. 111 is impeding a federal agent or officer. I'm going to ask you again, are you going to give us your citizenship? If not, we're going to take you inside and roll you.
I'm a Native American.
You're a Native American.
I am a Native American.
You have any identification or anything?
I'm not going to give you ID, but I'm a Native American.
You're a Native American.
I'm a Native American.
Do you have a driver's license?
I do.
Can I see it?
Why do you need to see it? You did. I just told you I'm a Native American.
Well, where were you born?
I'm a Native American.
Where? What kind? What tribe? Like, there's identification cards for that.
I ain't got time for this. I was born in the United States. Is that better?
That's perfect.
That's Native American. There's no other Native American.
Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
All this because someone won't answer a question, huh?
Have a good day, sir. Thank you.
Go fuck yourselves.
This encounter is a powerful reminder. Your rights don't disappear just because you cross an invisible line. Border checkpoints may feel routine, but they're a front line for testing constitutional freedoms. Always remember, you have the right to remain silent, the right to demand accountability, and the right to stand firm against overreach. Stay educated, stay vigilant, and never let intimidation erode your liberty. Because once you give up your rights, getting them back is a much harder battle. In a world where public spaces are monitored and curiosity is treated like a crime, how far will law enforcement go to suppress your rights? In this intense encounter, a rookie cop confronts a citizen for the crime of filming parked vehicles, all happening in broad daylight in a public parking lot. What begins as simple questions quickly escalates to threats of arrest as the officer struggles to understand basic constitutional limits. Will the citizen stand strong against intimidation, or will pressure force him to comply? Let's dive into this fiery clash of rights versus authority.
What's your name and badge number?
Can I help you first? I see you're looking in people's personal vehicles.
Yeah.
Which is not suspicious at all.
You don't do that ever?
Not when I'm not, fighting crime or anything.
Okay.
Just walking through parking lots? No, we don't do that.
Can I get your name and badge number, please?
Officer Clapham 291. Now, Can I ask you why you're searching or looking in people's personal vehicles?
No. Well, you can ask, but I'm not going to answer. So
then
I do have a question.
No, I'm not going to answer any questions.
Are you sure?
Yep.
Okay.
I don't have to answer any questions. So.
How's it going, man?
Good. How are you?
Doing good.
I came out and I saw him.
What's your name and badge number, sir?
So I saw him recording inside people's personal vehicles, not marked units, personal vehicles.
Okay.
So to me, that's suspicious. So right now you're detained.
I'm
until
detained.
we can figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Okay. So
all right.
What are you doing?
You might want to get a sergeant before you do all that.
No, I don't have to.
Okay.
So why are you looking at?
I'm requesting a supervisor right now.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you go grab a supervisor while I ask you investigatory questions.
Hey, we got a captain right here.
Hey,
that's great.
Hey, Cap.
Awesome.
So, again, why are you looking at people's personal vehicles?
I don't answer questions, man. Am I suspected of committing a crime?
Yes.
You have reasonable, articulable suspicion?
Yes.
Okay, so what crime?
Well, I am assuming that you're either A, looking in people's vehicles, personal vehicles, to possibly take shit out of them.
Okay.
So, that's a crime. That's called theft.
So you're suspecting me of theft right now?
I have enough reason to believe that you could be, yes.
That I could be what?
About to commit theft. About to commit a crime. Okay. So why are you looking in people's personal vehicles?
Again, man, I don't answer questions.
Okay. Well, I'm telling you to answer this question. You're under investigation for something.
All right.
Because you're being detained.
Okay.
Okay. So why are you looking in people's personal vehicles?
I don't answer questions.
Okay, you can hang tight then.
Yep.
And we're going to have a sergeant come out and...
That's fine. The captain is right there. So.
Yeah, well, he's not on duty at the moment, so I don't want to take him on his off-duty
Pretty sure
time.
he's smart enough to tell you that nothing wrong here.
Okay, you stand right here then. Can you stand by with him? Okay.
This is Terre Haute Police Department.
Go ahead and get his name and date of birth. He's detained still, so you can get that info.
No, you're not getting that info.
Just wanted to let you know. What's that?
Hey, it's Officer Man.
Okay, will do.
How you doing, man? This is Officer Man from one of our first videos ever. Let's see. Are you gonna not tell him that there's no crime being committed here?
What do you mean?
I mean, he's detaining me without reasonable articulable suspicion.
You are filming inside of personal vehicles.
Okay.
On a public lot.
That's right.
Is that not suspicious? Would a normal person be walking around filming?
Is suspicion a crime?
No, but it's
Is
enough
being-
to detain people.
Okay.
So,
Because
you're under detainment, you have to provide me your name, date of birth. Okay.
Okay.
So
So
what's your name?
what's going to happen if I don't give you my name?
Then you can be under arrest for
Okay.
failing to provide your.
So if I give it, it's
All I
under
need-
duress.
All I
You
need is
understand?
your name and date of birth.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. So just again, I'm just making it clear. If I don't give it, you're going to arrest me, right?
For failure to identify, that's a
Okay.
crime, right? That's a crime, right?
Okay. Only if another crime has been committed. See, failure to identify is a secondary charge.
Because you are being detained.
Okay.
You have to provide that information for
Sir,
me.
why are you looking in people's cars?
I don't answer questions, man, but I will tell you that failure to identify is a secondary charge. So if I'm not being charged with a crime, or if I haven't committed a, no, it's a secondary. Do you know what that means? It means that if I've committed a crime, I'm required to provide my ID.
For committing a crime.
No, you have no suspicion that I've committed a crime, do you?
You're about to commit a crime. That's part of the
You're
clause.
saying it.
Hold
I
on,
am
hold
about
on.
to. That's what you're
Yes,
saying.
that's part of the clause.
Okay.
If you are committing a crime or about to commit a crime.
Okay.
Okay? Hang tight.
Let this be crystal clear. Suspicion is not a crime, and silence is not guilt. When officers twist the law to force compliance, it's up to us to push back harder. Don't let their threats shake your resolve. Record everything. Challenge unlawful commands, and expose these abuses for the world to see. Because the moment you give in to fear, they win. But when you stand tall and fight back, you inspire thousands more to do the same. Remember, courage is contagious, and tyranny crumbles when faced with resistance. What happens when public servants forget who they truly serve? In this fiery encounter at an Illinois courthouse, a determined citizen challenges authority face-to-face, defending his right to record in public and question unlawful orders. As lines blur between policy and actual law, tensions skyrocket. Will this citizen's stand expose the abuse of power, or will intimidation silence another voice? Get ready. This is more than just a confrontation. It's a battle for freedom on American soil.
Thank you very much, sir.
You go that way. I'm asking you nicely to leave. Over this way.
For what?
You
Don't touch me. Don't you touch me.
please walk.
What are you doing?
Okay, thank you.
What are you doing?
What are you doing? I have security cameras here watching this place. You do not need to be back here filming all this stuff.
Right now, I'm dealing with him. I would like to talk to you, ma'am. I would. So I will be in to talk to you. Are you the elected clerk? Thank you. I will be in to talk to you, miss. Thank you very much. He can't be bothered to do his job when he's got cameras here. So what's in there that I shouldn't see?
Why don't you talk to the county clerk here?
Man, I'm just kind of allowed to do. I'm allowed to do whatever I want as long as I'm not breaking the law. You're law enforcement, not feelings enforcement.
This is the clerk's office. That's my personal office.
I get that, and I'm allowed. If your door is open, I'm allowed to look in it. You could close it if you don't want to look in it. But this
you're
guy's
not allowed to go past there.
says what? Says what? Is that just how y'all feel, or is that a law?
I mean, there's nothing in my office. You're welcome to look at it.
I am welcome to look at it.
You come on right ahead.
There you go.
Hey, by the way, I don't need permission. I need to watch it. That is a threat. That shows who you are.
Well, you're the one who said you're
Hey,
gonna flatten my nose.
don't touch me, and we won't have to defend myself, will I?
You have the right to walk around this store.
Around, so don't restrict it. And do your job. Pay attention to this fine lady here. What's wrong with you? Don't tell me what to do. You go on. Go on. You don't have authority over a free American. Go. All right. Kick rocks, pal. Yeah. Man, you see the ego on this hat? This is crazy, man. Doing good, man.
I understand you're recording stuff, get my information in case you need it.
Appreciate your forthcomingness.
As long as you're not causing any issues, you can be in here recording everything okay?
Yeah, Captain, yeah. I wanted to talk to you, man. I don't like to take the time to do written complaints, but your deputy here, and it's to your benefit that I'm not doing a written complaint. Your deputy here really was getting in my face, getting my personal area over in this area, past his desk. Now, I understand that it says, please wait here for assistance and all this. I don't understand how that gives anybody lawful authority to control where I am past here. It really doesn't make sense. Now, I want to show you, like, I understand this, please wait here for assistance, stop, please wait here for assistance. Now, if I don't need assistance, I'm not going to wait. I'm just going to kind of look around, and then I'll leave.
There are certain areas that you can't, you can't go back behind desks.
Hey, come here, let's check this out. This is what I wanted to show you. This says notice employees only beyond this point. That is a little bit more fitting. Now, I'm not advocating that we get signs back there. Sure. I'm just advocating that we don't I don't want to be messed with when I'm moving freely in a courthouse that I help pay for, man. I really don't. Which is my only complaint.
Sure, I get that, but like I'm sure you get that. You know, you can't go in.
I'm not going back here. You know what I mean? I'm not going back here, am I? Over there, there's no signs, so I'm going to move where I want to.
I think you do understand that there are areas in the courthouse that are restricted.
And I think that part of my job is to help everybody understand where those areas are.
Sure.
And I think that when we don't have a full, complete, all-encompassing understanding of where those areas are and where law allows you to restrict movement, I think restricting movement just kind of arbitrarily seems dangerous, because I could have gotten arrested, and I told him if he tried to touch me, I would have defended myself, and that would have escalated into a very bad situation.
Okay. Well,
when really there's no reason for it to have done that.
I mean, I think you're trying to escalate stuff. I think that's what people do.
Talk to him the exact same way I've talked to you, and that is what it is.
Just so you're aware, I mean, a sign or verbal, I mean, you can be notified several ways that an area is restricted. So it doesn't have to be on the sign. We can tell you, hey, this area is off limits.
If I'm out on the sidewalk, it's the same as if I'm in here when there's no signs.
I disagree with that, because, like I said, you can't just walk into private offices back there. There are clearly areas that are restricted that people just can't go into.
There's no private offices in the courthouse.
I disagree with that. Okay.
Where is the private office?
These random offices back here. This is the common area right here.
This is the treasurer's office, all right?
Sure.
It's an elected public official's office.
Right. There's a public area and there's a private area. Yeah.
Right. Okay. But in a public area, you can't just arbitrarily say. So hold on. Notifying me verbally, that would be like saying if you told me verbally that I'm not allowed to be right here, then I'd have to move. No, I'm just going to tell you no, and I'm going to tell you to.
You wouldn't do that because this is just a common area.
Right. But you did, with all due respect, you did it over there, and that's a common area as well.
No, I mean,
the clerk's the main public official's office is right over there, man.
Right, and still, her office in particular is not a public.
It is. You have to run for it. It's a public office. You're elected.
The clerk's office in general, there is a public area there. You go in there and get your records. But you still don't have free reign to go into the specific.
I actually believe that I do, unless law prohibits it.
Okay.
Unless law prohibits it, I believe I do. So if you're aware of a law,
I think we have the ability to restrict access to certain areas. I mean, you can't go into a woman's bathroom, can you?
But only if a law prohibits it, right? Because you're law enforcement, not feelings enforcement.
Right. We can enforce the restriction of access to certain parts of the building. I think you understand that.
If there's a law.
If we have a female restroom, we can't have males going in there looking around.
I believe they make laws for that.
I think there's common sense that goes into a lot of that.
I agree, but I think there's also laws just for the people that don't have a slight, even the smidgen of common sense. And there's a lot of those running around in this area.
And people don't have common sense, and that's when we go direct them and tell them, hey, you can't be in here, you can't be over there.
Right.
There are certain
but the thing is when
address people and say, hey, just so you know, this area is off limits. So there are times where we do give verbal, you know, if people aren't understanding, we do advise them verbally, but for the most part, common sense usually takes care of it.
Yeah, Mr. Sakowicz, I think that the misconception here is that I'm saying you could. I'm not arguing that you couldn't.
Sure.
I'm saying you could if there's a law. Okay. But if there's no law, you have zero authority to do anything.
And
you understand that?
Sure. And,
right.
And people will, you know, they dissect laws different ways. What one person thinks the law means, another person may not. That's why they argue stuff in court all the time.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure that if there's no law at all, there's nothing to be argued with in court. You know what I mean?
if it was as simple as that, then we wouldn't even have people arguing. Sorry, one second.
Yeah. Actually, don't need it anymore. I appreciate you going above and beyond. Yes, that is exactly what I need. Thank you so much. You have a good day, okay?
Anything else from sir?
I mean, I don't know if I asked, but I guess I'll ask you to not get in people's faces over there in the public building. If you guys can do that, if you can stay out of people's personal space, don't touch, you know, all the stuff you learned in kindergarten. Keep your hands to yourself. Okay, sure. Don't touch what isn't yours. You know, have a good attitude.
Without common sense, there's a barrier there.
Yeah, there's no barrier there, though, brother. That's a half barrier. Like, what is that? It's nothing.
It's to allow the courthouse employees to come through into their private offices.
Then restricted. That's not restricted.
That's what we're doing by verbally telling you.
No, you're not. You're just bullying me in public. You don't understand that. This is the thing.
We can agree to disagree.
You can't just verbally tell somebody what to do and then they snap that you have to do it. No.
Okay. Again,
it's like me telling you to
disagree. I mean,
well,
it is what it is.
Go ahead and just tell me to do something and I'll refuse it, and then you can arrest me for a refusal to follow orders. You know.
That's what I was saying. You know,
all right.
If laws were clear cut, then
they're pretty clear cut, brother.
You know what I mean?
They're pretty clear cut.
I agree with you 100%. But that's what the courts are for. They disagree over what laws mean all the time, and you know whether someone hasn't broken it or not. So
yeah, we'll have to disagree about that as well. I think the courts are more there to back you up and keep your position up because they get paid through the same exact mechanism that you get paid. So if you know it all went to shit, they wouldn't get any money. But yeah. But hey, you know, I'm cool with agreeing to disagree. All right. So as long as nobody's attacking me, you know what I mean. As long as nobody's going hands on, you know, making me defend myself, that'll be just fine.
All right.
And you're a big dude too. That wouldn't have ended well for me, or you.
Hey, I'm not here to try to rough anybody.
It did. I'll tell you, sir. I hope you're telling the truth, but it did not look like that to me. That's the only reason that I said that stuff over there.
I just started walking across the barrier. I was just stepping, trying to block it from you, because that is her office. I'm not trying to be rude to you, okay? Listen.
I don't want to be rude to you either. I like to be polite.
I have no problem with you guys going upstairs, walking around, but you can't go to the third floor with cameras. We don't let anybody go up there with them, because that's the courts, okay? But if you want to go to the second floor, I would be more than happy if you're willing to sign in.
We're doing that sign-in thing? Hold on, where's the captain?
At this point in the video, I go into the clerk's office to request the court order that would prohibit us from entering the second floor without forfeiting our Fourth Amendment right and signing in. We ultimately go upstairs and request the order in writing. Unfortunately, the judge gets wind that we are in the courthouse with recording devices and in an anti-transparency move, has us kicked out. I had been sitting inside for about 25-30 minutes, so I stopped recording, but I went live after we left the courthouse to ask some more questions.
I'm the state's attorney.
You look very judicious.
I need glasses.
I got them already, can't you see? Hey, I was wondering, man, what's your opinion on the constitutionality of not allowing electronics into a public building? That's what? Are you the elected official?
Yep.
Surely you've got an opinion, sir.
No, I don't.
Take care. It's pretty poor. That's pretty poor. That's unfortunate. They have kind of said to me without saying it, like, hey, the judge handed down an order just now that we're going to get to you.
You guys want a copy of this?
Wouldn't mind it.
It's from the Supreme Court policy from the Illinois Supreme Court. So if you want to check that out, read it. It goes into ways that the judge of the get out of the way in case the judge of the courthouse, any given courthouse. So this case would be Judge Ray Vaughn. He's a resident circuit judge for Richland County.
Yeah.
They can essentially set up their own rules regarding recordings in a courthouse. Can't do anything about sidewalk, obviously. That's outside and outside the purview of the courthouse. But in the courthouse, the judge can essentially determine what he believes to be a reasonable rule regarding recording equipment. So if you want to read through that, if you have any questions about it, please let me know. But
yeah, could I just ask you, man, just to get a confirmation, what's going to happen to me if I go back in that door?
We'll ask you to leave, or you can go back in without the recording equipment as much as you want.
Okay.
If you go back in with the recording equipment, we'll ask you to leave, and if you don't leave, then you'll probably be taken into custody for refusing an order, okay?
For refusing a...
Well, it would be my order refusing you to leave the courthouse because you're violating the judge's order for the recording equipment.
Okay. And would that be a law, or would that be contempt of court?
That would be, I mean, there is disobeying a peace officer is a law, as long as the law is lawful, which under the circumstances I believe it to be.
As long as the order is lawful.
Yes.
Right. Okay. Right. And
I
so
believe,
you think
I believe it to be based on the information in the Illinois Supreme Court policy. Yes.
Okay. So this is one thing I always find fascinating about American police. They are so willing to spend hours researching and trying to understand court decisions that they think gives them power to violate citizens' rights. But they will never spend a single minute trying to look into cases that enshrine our rights in case law, like the People versus Clark, where the Illinois Supreme Court handed down a ruling that said that restricting the use of an audio or audio-visual recording device suppresses speech just as effectively as restricting the dissemination of the resulting recording. Does the Illinois Supreme Court legislate?
I'm just telling you what's going to happen, okay? And
right.
If you want to speak to legislators
I'm just talking to you to do this. I'm just doing this mental exercise because when people stop talking, that's when bad things happen. So I like to talk this kind of stuff out so that we can kind of understand where we're at, on this page.
If you got a question about legislation and all that, that's something for the legislator. You can contact your state senator.
I don't have a question about the legislation. I know who legislates. Sure. It's the legislature. The Supreme Court doesn't, right?
Okay. So, and you can certainly argue that in court if you wanted to, okay?
So before who?
They can hand down laws.
Wait, who would I take this? Policies. Who would I take this before?
It would go before the judge, obviously.
So the same court that's imposed the rule is going to enforce the rule.
Once you would be arrested, then you would be given a court date. You'd be released and given a court date. You come back to the court date and make your argument for, whether you're guilty or not guilty, and make your argument for why you did so.
Yeah. Okay. So in order to even debate this with any public official, I have to get arrested.
No, not necessarily. You can contact your state senator and discuss about.
Well, with all due respect, the state senator isn't doing this. They didn't pass a law, and you're law enforcement. You're supposed to enforce the law.
That's what I think I'm doing.
That's why I'm trying to talk to you about it, because you understand the legislature didn't pass this law.
I'm giving you my answer.
Right.
Right.
You're just going to blindly do whatever the judge tells you.
I'm going to follow the direction that I've. There's always more information out there than I've got in my head. So the information that I've got right now basically says that the judge here can make the determination for recording equipment in this courthouse.
And so where did you look for that information,
he says that you can't have recording in the courthouse, I'm going to ask you to leave or turn off the recording equipment. And if you don't, then you'll be arrested for disobeying an order by a peace officer. So
yeah, that wouldn't really be very peaceful, would it, if you arrested me for not doing anything?
That's just the words they use in the
right. But it wouldn't be right if you kidnapped me for not doing anything to anybody.
I wouldn't see it
and
that
hurt.
way. Yeah,
well,
I don't think that would. I don't think that would be a violation of the kidnapping statute. So.
Rely heavily on these advice.
But feel free to read through it. I can come back and talk to you here in a little bit if you want me to, okay?
Okay, and so there's no cell phones allowed in the whole building.
Right. That's I wasn't even thinking about that when I talked to you.
Well, it just kind of is like literally saying, it's literally contradicting itself, because it's saying.
Yeah, I read through it too, and it basically says, you need it for these purposes.
But you need it, right?
Right.
But
under certain circumstances, if the judge wants to deny them, then that's up to the judge, basically. So.
Okay, right. So does the judge order? Because that guy didn't seem too intent in taking our phones. So why didn't he take our phones?
I think I just had a misunderstanding of.
Well, this was before you ever came over there. We walked right in the courthouse with the phones, and everybody else walked in the courthouse with their phones.
Right, and that's why I think I think I assume the other courthouse security guy just had a misunderstanding of what the policy was. We do have, I don't know if you saw it there to the right of the court security desk, there's a black box on the wall, and it's got lockable lockers, basically for people to put their stuff in, pocket knives, cell phones, whatever.
I guess what I'm trying to get to the bottom of, Captain, or we'll say Mr. Sekowicz.
Robert's even fine if you want.
Robert, it's a good name. So Robert, my problem is, I guess, are we special that our phones aren't allowed in?
I don't know.
And everybody else is?
I would assume that they're thinking there's a disturbance being caused, and that would fall under the, if the judge has a determination, for it, wherever was that here?
Yeah.
For security concerns, essentially. So if he's got a security concern issue, then he can make that determination.
Yeah.
So.
Doesn't that seem crazy, man, that they'd have you kidnap somebody?
I would have just allowed it to be in the lobbies like we discussed before.
Right, yeah.
That would have been my position on it, but
because that seems right.
I don't override the judge, so.
Right, but surely, like, have you ever heard of that Nuremberg trials thing?
Yeah.
You know, in that, well, can I just finish?
Very familiar with it.
Yeah, I'll tell you. So they've got this, I believe it's like the World Court or some, handed down a ruling, right? Yeah, who cares? But anyway, they handed down this ruling, all right, and it says, if you have a conscience, which humans do, and somebody asks you to do something morally that you believe is morally incorrect, and this is in the law that they've written and they handed down, it's the Geneva Conventions that they've handed down. And it says if you have a conscience and you morally disagree with an order that you've given, saying that you're just following orders is no excuse for doing something wrong. And so I really wonder with you personally, Robert, because I'll tell you, I am not looking to get kidnapped today or thrown in these cages.
Sure.
I guess my question to you is, Robert, where do you draw the line? What would that judge have to ask you to do where you say, Judge, I morally disagree with that and I'm not going to do that? What is the line? Could you say, would it be, let me give you some, would it be maybe go take their guns?
No. I mean, if they're in the courthouse, then yeah, you can't have it in the courthouse.
So like, what if
there's certainly plenty of restrictions on guns as well.
Yeah. Right. So like, they keep ebbing away at that, right?
Sure.
So right. So how far do they have to go until you say, you've crossed the line and now I won't take your money to do your dirty work anymore?
I don't know how to answer that. I mean, there's you could give scenario after scenario. There's 1,000 scenarios you could give. And
right. I know.
Can I get your take on this one or this one? I mean, we can do it. Stay here for 24 hours.
I'm just asking you, like, what would be the line? What could you conceive of?
This is perfectly reasonable to ask you to leave if the judge says you can't have recording equipment in the courthouse. I think that's a reasonable.
Right. Even though there's I'm going. Matter of fact, you've given me your card.
Mm-hmm. You got it. Yeah. Information's on there.
I'll send you an email with higher courts, much higher than the Illinois Supreme Court,
I would love to see
ruling that it's constitutionally protected speech to record your interactions with government officials while they're in their public capacity.
Sure.
In public. I could actually give you the case law right now. The name of it. It's
you can.
It's People versus Alvarez is what it is.
I'm gonna remember it better if you email it.
Yeah. I'll email it to you. Don't worry. I'll email it to you. But when I come back after I've emailed it to you, I hope that and when I can't afford to get kidnapped by you guys to stand up for freedom, I hope that you will not be the one doing it. And I hope that if I'm sitting in this cage for not doing anything wrong, that you tell the people who've done it to me, hey, I won't accept your money to work for you anymore because you've crossed a line. But I'm not sure that there is a line for you. And that's something that concerns me. I'm not sure there's a line that you would say, I'm not going to cross.
We'll address it when we come to it.
Yeah. That's a problem. No, and man, I hate to tell you, but I won't shake your hand because you threatened to.
No problem at all. If you need anything, you got my information. Email me, call me, whatever. I'll sit there and talk to you. I mean, I don't have.
I'll email you, and I'll ask you for an answer, and we'll see if you can give me an answer that you couldn't give me today because you wouldn't give me a single answer today. Besides, we'll arrest you. So when I email you and I send you the 7th Circuit Court of Appeals ruling that says recording public officials is constitutionally protected speech, I hope you can give me an answer that says, oh, now I've been informed of this, now I've read this and I've thought for myself, now I won't do that because it's clearly wrong. I hope that this is a response I get. Maybe you'll say, hey, I disagree with the ruling and I'll do it anyways. But even an answer would be good.
I'll check it out and I'll let you know, all right?
Let this serve as a powerful lesson. If you don't know your rights, you'll be ruled by those who pretend they do. Never surrender your freedom out of fear or confusion. Challenge every unlawful command Question every so-called policy and demand accountability from those who claim authority over you. Tyranny thrives when good people stay silent, but it crumbles when you stand firm and force the oppressors to answer. Stay vigilant, stay courageous, and never forget, freedom is not granted, it's defended.